Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Another day that the Lord has kept us, and we are glad about it. Thank you so much for tuning in to this particular global platform, acknowledged as Project 365, where we bring you nothing but good messages, great messages, powerful messages from powerful people. And we're grateful to God for the opportunity to do that. I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated, where again, we have the opportunity to bring you hope, encouragement, and we added on inspiration for the fact that that's what we do and that's what God allowed us to do. So we're taking advantage of that and doing it. So we're grateful to God for that. Let me bring in my co-host.
Hello, everyone. I am Takira Swan, and I am so happy to be here with you guys today. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. You're almost through your work week. So that's one thing to be hopeful and hang in there about. Before I bring our lovely guests that I've known for quite some time, I just want to remind our viewers today to please go to our YouTube page to like, share, and subscribe. You know that hope, encouragement, and inspiration she was talking about? We are trying to share that across the entire world. And we've already started, but we need your help. So go onto our page, make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. Along with that, those three powerful words: hope, encouragement, and inspiration. Well, today my guest is Miss Tonya Banks. Hi, Tonya.
Hello.
We have the opportunity to hear on the topic of gambling. Not too many times do we hear about the effects of gambling. When we do hear about it, it's so far gone that it really does a lot of disruptions in families, in the lives of individuals. But today we want to hear some information about gambling, whether it's with adults, children, teenagers, college students. Gambling is a serious situation to have in your life, and we're going to hear information about it. And not just that, not just the fact that it actually takes hold of your very being and your life, but Tonya is also going to share with us information about her nonprofit organization entitled iLaunchiLand Incorporated. Correct, Tonya?
Correct.
Good.
Absolutely.
It is a youth organization, and when you have youth at heart, you pretty much do a lot of things that you didn't think you would do maybe years ago. But because we see how the young people are living today, we see the support that they need, the emotional support, the financial support, the development that they need. God needs individuals like a Tonya Banks to actually invest and lead organizations that will help these young people become role models, productive adults in our communities. And we're grateful to God that she has accepted this assignment. Well, today we are going to step back, Tonya, and allow you to bring forth the information that you want to talk about as it relates to iLaunchiLand Incorporated. You've got the platform.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone, and Portia and Takira. I really thank you and appreciate you both for the opportunity to share on this awesome Project 365 platform about iLaunchiLand's journey, as well as our youth gambling prevention project that we embarked on in January. And I've truly learned a lot. So at the end, after I go through the iLaunchiLand portion, I will also share the video for those who have not seen it, and just promote prevention and awareness as well. iLaunchiLand was truly for me a vision given from God, given to me from God, and I can truly say, as I thought about it yesterday, that I am also a beneficiary of the vision, because personally I had to learn to totally trust God by following his lead which makes the task so much easier. I promise you. I have also really been fulfilled to see the works of the Lord and how they unfold in the lives of others. So, we do it for our children, our biological and adopted and, you know, stepchildren, but just to go out and meet a stranger and come in with no strings attached and watch their lives transform, and they're trying to figure out why or how, and you get to introduce them to God as well. This is not a gimmick. This is literally, I am sent here on earth to assist you to launch in life. And then the last part that's really fulfilling to me is to know that when I die, I will have left a generational impact because they will teach their children and their peers and so forth and so on. So I'm excited. It's very fulfilling. But I am the founder and president of iLaunchiLand. And I also hope this story will give hope and inspiration and encouragement to others as well as you listen in on the journey. And I hope that it motivates someone who may be moving slowly or stagnated on what God has given them to do, to pick it up and keep it moving. But as the founder and president, this is a nonprofit that was formed in 2017. The vision for Our Launch Our Land is empowering young men between the ages of 10 to 21 in Maryland to basically navigate life successfully. And we provide holistic mentoring and life coaching. We are local to small groups, and we also are in Cherry Hill Elementary Middle School. And for those of you who don't know, I grew up in Cherry Hill, and so I'm fortunate to give back to the community in which I was a part of. And then our program consists of 3 phases, basically. And the title of or the name of the business is I Launch Our Land, but there's actually a third middle phase as well. And those 3 phases talk about or shared or launching, which is more like the mentoring and self-awareness part of the program. And we take the boys and we start where they are. And this involves preparing young men to get in motion by training and life skills. So we help them with coping mechanisms, communication skills, even purpose discovery. Like, why are you here? We talk about etiquette, career and educational awareness. And we also, and I'm talking 6th through 8th graders, starting at that point, we also deal with financial management because a lot of times they're in low income communities or food deserts or disfranchised areas. So we also impart things that they may not have heard of before so that they'll know there's some hope in the future, and this doesn't have to be my life, as you will. And we also work with the parents because we're not the savior in a sense. So we partner with what the parents can come in and bring to the table. But the other thing that we help with the parents is we identify risk with their children that are in the launch phase. So when we see lethargy or just uneducation or unawareness, hopelessness, these are the forces, and I think of it like gravity, that pull us down. So we help the parents identify how to lift their children up. And then the second phase is the trajectory phase. And that's like once you've launched in life and you're moving forward, you're in the environment. And I'll talk about the rocket analogy as my inspiration to us adults on the call. But once you're in movement and you're moving in that trajectory phase, that's where we bring in cultural awareness, activities and events for young men to discover new opportunities and possibilities, whether it's a college fair, a career fair, retreats. The 6th and 8th graders are going to visit high schools, and we say, well, they say, I don't want to go to my zone school. Well, then we work with them. How do you get to a non-zone school? And we brought in Tyrus and Naja to do tutoring to get their grades up So we intend to walk with these young people from 6th grade to I want to be at your baby showers, and hopefully you're an adult and married. But there's risk in the trajectory phase because once you're there, we want to make sure that the distractions in your environment, now that you've launched, are identified. And then we want to make sure you don't become isolated or you don't connect back to your help. And so that's a risk that we work with the parents too. And then the last phase is the land phase. We call that the coaching. So eventually you launch, you're moving in the environment, and then eventually you need to land. So we identify and facilitate their landing place so that young men can not only lead with integrity, but be fulfilled by walking out their purpose in life. This automatically produces a better citizen, a better man, a better husband, a better father. So the goal will be to prepare the young men who have landed successfully to also, which is very important to me, reach back and assist in launching the next generation so that we corporately can reduce the threat that most young men experience while they're trying to navigate through life without positive direction. So the risk there is just making sure that once they're trying to land, that they don't land in a place that's destructive, basically. So for us on the line, my encouragement to you, and just to share quickly about my story or my process, I just say trust God with it. That's my story because again, it was formed in 2017. God gave this vision to me in 2014. And he gave me the phases, he gave me the whole, I guess, just downloaded the pieces to it, if you will. But I kept in my natural mind getting stuck with it's boys. So I kept asking my husband to do it. I have all the pieces for you. And he kept saying no. No conversation, just no, not interested. So not only was he saying no, at that time, all kinds of crazy things were going on around me. And I thought, God, why do you keep telling me? What is this? I don't feel like it. I don't want to. And but I tell you the truth, while focusing on what God gave me to do, when I finally accepted it, all the other things that were going on around me did not consume me because it's something about being purpose driven that you can almost ride above everything else because you're fulfilling his will and you're not stuck in your mess or what's trying to create mess for you. So people would ask me, how are you still moving forward? And all I could say was God's given purpose gave me peace and kept me. So I encourage you, if he's given you anything to do, just do it. And I promise you, you will not only be fulfilled, but I would say sustained, whether it's COVID, whether it's finances, whether it's marriage, whether it's health, whatever it is, you can be mentally, and I say mentally sustained because you are still accomplishing his will. And that was one thing that's all I can attribute it to. So I finally accepted that this assignment was for me and not for a man. But then I got upset about that because I was literally pursuing my master's to become a family marriage therapist. I mean, ready to pay for grad school and had my letters of recommendation and everything. And so I had to call a friend. She had to, calm me down. And she said, I said, listen, I told God I've been happily doing marriage ministry for 25 plus years. But what I got from him, if you don't get these boys straight, you won't have fathers and husbands at the caliber that we need in society today. And I said, wow, okay. So this assignment starts with boys, but it will eventually reap good fathers and good husbands. So God's plan isn't always our plan, people. I had swift confirmations, I believe 3 within 5 days. So I became unupset and went on and did the thing. But then I went into panic mode on day 6. I'm like, and I'm pretty, I don't know. I just thought, I'm not a boy. I just remember crying, I'm not a boy. Who's going to help me? Where am I going to do it? Who's going to join this thing? And the answer was, God said, just talk about it. And I'm like, no, it can't be that simple. It just can't be. So I said, well, I don't have anything else. So Malcolm won't help me. So I guess I'll just talk about it. So anyway, I went to the movies to relax and saw Hidden Figures. If you remember that movie with the 3 smart women. I embarrassed my daughter so bad because I cried through the whole movie, taking notes of the entire movie. God was literally downloading me the details and final touches for this program. And so, as I get closer to the end of this conversation, I'll just share some things because these are the things that help me in some of the details of what he was downloading in the movie for the program, but it still helps me today. So I hope it'll help you. He said, first of all, the boys love the rocket and the NASA analogies because I guess they're boys. But it was like I became an instant rocket researcher, and I'm in the IT field, not science. So I guess I learned about NASA's rocket countdown to launch. That was the first thing. I learned about the thrust. So the total thrust at launch for a rocket is 7.8 million pounds. That's the amount of thrust that you need to get that rocket into space. Well, that's us, y'all. We are the 7.8 million pounds of thrust with the power that God has given us to use for others to help them launch. So, whatever your mission is, whatever your vision is, whatever your assignment is, think of yourself as the thrust to make it happen. And it's not a little thrust, it's a lot. So, that was mind blowing to me. And then when you're on, if you remember, watching the rockets on the launch pad, those rockets are connected to a power source. And the power source is coming from underground, connected through a pipeline, a gas line. But once you take off, you have to rely on your own fuel and power source. And so what we teach the boys and what it's taught me, hopefully you all as well, that we don't, at some point, we can't rely on our own power source. We have to rely on God's power source. And so that will be disconnected. That given power, that given ground power will be disconnected, and we have to rely on God, which is our ultimate power source. And then next, I learned about Newton's third law of motion, which was awesome because the third law says every action produces an equal and opposite reaction. So to break it down simply, was God said, if you trust me, I'm going to give you something. But we take the first step. We take action. And what I'm telling you is if he gives you something, you take the first step. For me, the nonprofit first step was coming up with the name. And then once I did that, God reacted. He reacted. So take action. And then God reacts. And to me, I say I take one step. It seems to me he gives me 2. So he's always double down in whatever I do, which is minimum. He goes and he makes it big. So take the first step. Take action. And then what you do when you're in the trajectory phase in the environment, if you remember the movie, the astronaut couldn't reach the command center to communicate. And that's what the enemy wants us to do. He wants us to get somewhere and then isolates us. We have no one to communicate to, or we think we don't. And so that's one of the risks that when I see the boys pulling away, or when I see those in the program, I go and check in. Why are you disconnecting? Why are you not connecting? And that's what Satan does. That's what the enemy does with us. Oh, you shut down everything and everybody because we're mad, right? And guess what? In the environment, there are four forces. You got weight, thrust, lift, and drag. God says, I want you to thrust and lift, not be weighted down and dragged. So you have to learn that when rockets travel and turn into space, when they're trying to turn their trajectory in space, they literally have to release high pressure gases. So when I talked about the crazies happening in my life, listen, I'm telling you, God was teaching me too. So you do this program for these boys, honey, but I got you locked down because you are going to be the first partaker of all of this. So I learned that the high pressures are also facilitating my movement. So don't get weighted down and dragged down by the pressure, but stay connected to God and keep moving because the pressure helps us get where we need to be. Interrupt me anytime if you. But last, the landing part. Some rockets do not land. They burn up in the atmosphere or they are in deep space. Others land back on Earth and crash. And you notice when a rocket takes off, it takes off on dry land, cement, but when it lands in water. You can't land always where you launched. So there's an expectation that you've moved to a different destination. So back to God's word for me, just talk about it. And when I talked about it, I got everything I needed, including an awesome board of directors. I got connected with Cherry Hill Elementary. I'm a part of the Obama Foundation. And getting to the gambling part, we're partnering with the University of Maryland Gambling Prevention Group, and my daughter and two young adults that partner with me to help with the children. They get to speak on a platform of 3,000 people next week to present the video that they created and narrated, and that was a part of an iLaunchiLand grant program. So it doesn't really end at 21 because I'm drawing young people in that want to help, which is amazing. So I appreciate you guys or girls letting me share. And it's just been a blessing to watch God continually expand this and make it bigger and more effective as we continue to grow. So all I can ask you all to do is listen to what God gave you to do, take the first step, and watch Him bless it. And I hope everyone who is listening today, if you would like to partner or come join iLaunchiLand, feel free. And I look forward to partnering more with Portia's 5 nonprofits. I'm speaking it. But anyway, so thank you all and be blessed. And I can try right now to share my screen, and we can and you can get some education on the youth gambling prevention as well. So let's see. Okay. Video up?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Does it have sound?
Oh, yes, I can hear it.
I don't hear anything on my side. Do you hear it, Takira?
I can share the link.
Okay, we can do that, but I wanted to see it again today. I wanted our audience to see it, but yes, definitely share the link.
Okay. I will do that. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Mm, Here it is. But yes, I'll put it in the chat right now,
Oh, cool.
and maybe you all can play it.
Oh, I know you're not, look, I know you're not telling me to play it because I'm not techie. I can do other things, but I'm not. But I tell you
Takira,
what,
you can double click on it, I think, and play it. I can't
Akira,
hear.
I can't
You're
hear
on
you.
mute.
I unmuted myself. Hold on. So I can click on it and play it, but you guys can't see it.
Why?
I don't know, but it takes me to that link. So what I can do is I can put that link directly in our comment section,
Okay,
and then our viewers can click on it.
that's
How
fine.
about that? Okay.
That sounds good. All right. Tonya Banks,
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you so much for that information. I've been to the science class. I've been to church. I've been, this was really great information spiritually and naturally. But I tell you what, I'm definitely committing myself so that we can partner, because some of what you shared is a vision of something that I had as well, and I've not actually walked it out. So let's partner, and I
Sure.
just help you, or we just do it together, and we both are actually walking out the vision that God has given us. So we're going to make that happen. One of the things you're talking about is at the beginning stage of the vision that God has given you. There are times when I know we can, well, the word says we cannot despise our small beginnings. And as we walk it out, just talk about it. As you said, if we just talk about it, God is going to have someone in the right place at the right time to hear what you're talking about, and it's going to leap in them, and they're going to want to connect with you. So we can't look at the end of a thing, just do what he's told us to do, what he's instructed us to do. It's amazing. I just see myself in you sharing some of what you shared, the way it played out for me. So I'm a witness to what Tonya has stated, that once you just begin to do what God's told you to do not wait for the crowd to come on board.
Mhm.
Let that sink in for a moment. Do not wait for the crowd to come on board. There are some that will try to wait until you're big and your name is out there in the lights. That's not what it's for. That's not what it's for. You just do what God has told you to do and watch God make some things happen. That look, I was leaping, I was patting my foot because it was just speaking to me. It was just some things that was speaking to me. Let me say, it was something else that I had written down. I got to find it on this piece of paper. Takira, you got it, sweet. And look, I know Takira has so much to say. I saw your face at
Can
one
you
time. It was like,
tell? Okay. Where do I start? First of all, I just want to thank you for coming on our broadcast.
You're welcome.
Two, I know we really wanted to show that video, but I almost feel like that video and that whole segment on, gambling in the youth program should be a whole nother broadcast, because that just would have been too much. Like, you had so much information, like too much in a good way. because you have so much information that you don't even understand. I know you're blessing people with this, with what you have said today, because you really are blessing us here, because you have no idea. I have to just come back to the foyer conversation. Remember, and everything comes full circle, because I was telling you, like, oh, we got to do stuff for our young men, our boys. And you were like, oh yeah, I want to do A, B, and C. And you said, hey, you know what? I think Tonya Banks is trying to do something as well. We should hook up with her. And now look, I'm just okay.
Right.
That was a sidebar. Everything comes full circle. So one thing I really, really loved that you said is that you are doing this and you're going to be leaving generational impact. That is such a much needed thing here, but it's such a big deal, impacting generations. You know, like when you're far gone, it's like you have done something that will change the lives of people, who will change the lives of people, will change the lives of people. So I just commend you on that, number one. Number two, can you tell me how can someone take advantage of your program? Are you only working with the young men from the school that you're connected with, or can people, come into the program as well that are not involved with that?
I'm actually, so when I go to the school right now, I get accused of discrimination by the girls because they want to partake, because the boys announce or promote what we do and other people want to join. So I just said to myself last week, I have to be prayerful about, um, like, do I need to launch? What's the next step? So I do want to do more or something else. And fortunately, with COVID and my ability to telework more, I can. So if anyone would like to connect with me or partner, or feel like my son or someone I know may benefit, they can have my contact information, and I can work it out, because I do take the young boys in my family and do something with them during the summer outside of, it's the same program, but
Mhm.
I have groups, small groups, if you will. So,
Well, I just feel like, I hope all our viewers heard that. I feel like this program is so necessary. This is just a little secret passion of mine, because if we can just impact our young men, do you know how much that will change our world for like the better? It'll change everything. So just to recap on a couple of things that you said that you work on with the young men. You said you work on etiquette, with finding your purpose, your passion, financial management, finding your career placement, tutoring, cultural awareness, and just putting those young men into a positive direction. So if you feel that any young men that could benefit from this, if you are a young man yourself and you're like, hey, I would like to partake in this, we'll make sure we put her contact information in our comment section, that so you can contact her. I really feel like this program, one, is it's gonna blow up bigger than it already has. Like, you've been blessed, so
thank
have
you.
this wonderful grace and peace. The Lord has sustained you to make this happen. But it has to get bigger than this, because
Has
it's
to.
so much bigger than ourselves. And this is such a positive thing that will help so many people. So that's that one piece there. If you know someone that can participate, if you want to volunteer, if you want to, contact her, okay? Contact her. Secondly, this is like my second time saying second. It's like the eighth
Sarah,
point. You guys,
Takira.
it's like the 8 point.
Oh,
You guys don't even
well,
count. I'm almost done, I promise.
okay.
So, but no, I just want to say that when you said that you finally accepted what God wanted you to do, and you weren't fighting it anymore, that all those things that were, hectic to you, or burdening you, and it was so much chaos, it all stopped. So I just want to remind our viewers out here, especially our believers, when you accept the calling on your life that God has, and you accept that path and that road, and you just trust him, everything works out. Everything comes full circle. He will give you grace, peace, resources, fulfillment, and blessings. So just hang in there, trust him, and take that first step. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
But the
Can I
only
add
thing
one
right,
quick comment?
absolutely, absolutely.
As a female leading this organization, I have a great number of men that come in and do lessons because I am clear that we need that male perspective. So if, you know, I, 'cause I'm still a female, but that's it.
All day, every day. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it. And God gives you the grace to lead the organization and this program. Archbishop always says that God gives you grace for the assignment, grace for the
Yeah.
assignment. I was laughing at Takira because even though sometimes she gets long-winded, but what she says is so wonderful. So, hey, I can't cut her off. She's got it going on, and our audience loves her feedback and her recap. One of the things I wanted to say, and I've said it for years, I say talk is cheap. Come on, put some action to it. To our audience, if you know some of this information that Tonya shared with you regarding our young people, regarding our youth, regarding this organization, especially for those who are not working, even those that are working, you can find some time. You help someone else with their child, somebody's going to help you with your child. You have time, even if it's going there and taking them some waters for whatever program they have, even if it's something that maybe an administrative type of task that Tonya may need done. There are so many things that a nonprofit organization needs done, and we don't always have the funds to do it. And we definitely don't have the funds to hire someone to get it done. Thank God for grants. Thank God for those who have this type of work in their heart, because indeed, it's it's not one of those that you look for a pat on the back, but God always gives you just what you need. One question, Tonya, any adults that may want to assist you, do you do background checks?
Um, Not yet, but I do have insurance.
Okay,
And
okay.
that protects our board of directors, our committee team members. Um, but that's a good, thank you. I'll look
Mhm.
into that.
Definitely, definitely. I think I've exhausted everything. This has been so good. Again, those that are willing, what is that scripture? Willing and obedient. Could you hear God saying and telling you what to do? Instructions. And you know what? Even if it's something completely different than what Tonya or myself and Takira does, evidently, if God gave it to you and especially downloaded that information to you, it is needed in the earth. So I encourage you to go after whatever God has told you to do, to step out and do that first step. Do it, do the first step. I, I was going to say, I bet you, but we don't want to bet. I guarantee that God will give you the second step and the third step, and he will bring people to you who needs, whoever you need to get a job or a task or assignment done. All right. Again, thank you so very much, Tonya. I appreciate what you shared with us. Audience, don't forget to go into our comment section to look for that video that we could not share today, but it is a wonderful video filled with information. And Naja, everybody that knows Naja Banks, she helped with it. So come on, we have to view that, and it's on YouTube, correct?
Yes, Ian created the video. She's the narrator.
All right, all right.
So.
We know famous people. We know we know. God bless you, everyone. God bless you. And we will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.